Testing, testing. Let's see if this is working. Okay, can you guys hear me? All right. Yo, it's Marcus Scraper. So I want to talk a little bit about why I like to sell covered calls. And I'm gonna make this kind of brief. It might have some questions if anyone happens to pop in and join for the end. But so why do I like to sell covered calls? And peeling the onion back a little bit about my strategies a little bit, but my strategies I'll talk more about in future videos as well. In addition, I'm gonna do some kind of sessions with some other folks, teaching them how to sell covered calls for entertainment purposes only, but maybe recording those sessions and posting them here for you guys. Let me know if you guys are interested in watching some of those kind of sessions. But going back to peeling the onion back a little bit about why it is that I like to sell covered calls. So I like to sell covered calls because it might jive with me a little bit as an investor. So for example, I like to pick individual stocks. I like to trade stocks around, manage money, but I do also believe in this idea. The more you handle your money, the more you trade, this idea that it's kind of like water and sand, and this idea that you'll kind of lose some of it along the way. So I'm cognizant of that. And the idea behind why I kind of agree with that is that maybe you did some due diligence on your first trades, why you chose to buy into these stocks. You did a little research on that. And maybe sometimes in the instance when you think about trading from one stock to another stock, you're thinking about, okay, maybe you're doing something that's more emotive, more reactionary. Maybe stocks are down, you see a good deal over here, and you sell out of one position to fund the other position. So there's some things that you could do along the way. It could work out. Maybe it ends up not working out. But there are some moves that you could do. For example, that's more calculated, and more calculated moves, generally speaking, I think work out better. So recently, or a few months ago, I sold off a big part of my portfolio and reinvested that into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as well. And so that worked out very well. It was very calculated, but more calculated than something like, oh, it's a down day, sell out one position and then buy in another position. So these are some things that we just need to be aware of, that we want to be trading and investing in individual stocks, but at the same time, know that the more that we move around our money, the likelihood that we can kind of lose money in the process. So that's kind of maybe one of the ideas why I like doing covered calls. So I like to sell covered calls because this gives me an easy way to get easy money. And so here's an example of something I've done this week. I sold call options on Tesla, Riot, and Mara. So today I sold a call option on Tesla, for example. It was a $955 strike that expires at the end of the week. And the premium wasn't that much, to be honest. It was a $5 premium, but this was $5 that's kind of guaranteed. Will Tesla go to 955 by Friday? It's highly unlikely. I mean, it could. And if it did, okay, I'd have to sell my shares for $955, but that's really unlikely. And so it's like $5 in free money. And so with Mara and Riot, something similar. For Mara, I sold a call for a $70 strike price. And so this was around a premium of maybe around 20 bucks. And similar with Riot, an $87 strike price. And all of these expire at the end of the week. And again, this was a little bit more than a $20 in premium for that call option. So these are, essentially, they're easy money. I get to keep my shares. So basically, I'm helping myself who wants to kind of manage my money more. Kind of do some trading, make additional money, but I want to be long in these positions. So I can stay in these positions, not have the risk of selling out of one position, buy into another position, this idea that you might be losing money along the way when you're kind of reactionary and just kind of trading one stock for another stock. So that's kind of one of the reasons. And basically, you can put yourself in these scenarios where it's really easy money. And this idea that if you have a far out or way out of the money option, just like Tesla, for example, at 955 at the end of the week for $5. Again, that's not such a big premium, but you can do this and you can scale this in such a way to make money off of your investments. So as long as you have investments, you can basically keep making money indefinitely on these type of plays while experiencing appreciation, of course, with the stocks that you pick. So I wanted to share that with you guys today. And if you guys happen to have any questions about selling call options or any questions about the markets in general, the S&P 500 or any other stock, I'll answer some of those questions now. But other than that, I'm going to jump off here. And again, I'm going to have more content about how many shares of Tesla? Well, well, more than a certain amount, so I can sell options. So you can know that at least. Um, so besides that, yeah. So I like to sell. So again, I like to sell covered calls. Basically, use the stocks I have as an asset. Again, that's appreciating within itself, but consistently give myself extra money, whether it's $5, whether it's $20, whether it's $100 per week as additional income. So kind of like this extra dividend. I have to do a little bit more work than a regular dividend by actually pressing a few buttons, but that's about it. Let's see. Right, not a ton of people on here right now. That's true. I have 5 people watching at the moment, more than I expected, so you guys are legends. And I'll have more content about selling covered calls, some of the strategies that I do. And well, besides that, so again, there's this one strategy that I like to do. Like I mentioned, like I did with Tesla, Mara, and Riot. So that's kind of, I want to hold on to these shares. I don't really want to sell these shares. So I'm selling way out of the money, basically, these way out of the money calls. But the other strategy that I like to do as well, I'll accumulate more shares. So for example, Palantir, I've been just eating up Palantir shares every day. And I've been basically selling Palantir covered calls, and I've been pretty aggressive with the strikes. So I've been selling whether it was $26 strikes, $28 strikes, and so I've been selling these. And as we've been going along the way, I've been actually buying them back because I think I got like a 50% back in the premium, so I bought them back for 50% less, and then I'm selling them out a little bit further in terms of out in the money. They're all expiring this Friday, but for example, I sold them out for what maybe it's $30 strike or $31 strike. These type of strikes as well. So I don't mind necessarily some of my Palantir shares to be taken away and to be called at the same time. Unlike Tesla, where I don't want these shares to be called, or Riot and Mara at the current moment, I don't want those shares to be called at the moment. But if you have a lot of shares and you don't mind some of them being called, because it's a win-win. Basically, the loss that you can have is basically you get shares called for $26, you bought them in at $24. Again, you could have made even more money. It's this kind of first world problem where you could have made even more money. And so, kind of boo-hoo, right? So let's see how many Palantir shares I have. I have enough to be able to sell a lot of options and not worry if a few get called. That's how many shares. I don't exactly talk about my exact position sizes in any particular position. Do you buy it all? So yeah, I buy calls as well. So when Palantir went pretty low, I happened to buy a call as well. So basically, if the opportunity comes, one other calls that I bought recently, I bought Rocket Company's calls as well. I actually ended up selling those Rocket Company's calls today. Maybe I sold a little bit early, but I think I got like 100% return on those, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna cash in on those gains and then buy something else. So I do sell calls, but I am pretty disciplined. I don't let my calls go on for a long time, whether it's like 100% or 200%. That's kind of what I aim for in terms of when I cash the calls that I buy. Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Sell options with crypto mining. Exactly. I've been selling Mara, Riot, especially in pretty like Mara. I sold at a 70 strike. Riot I sold at an $87 strike, and I sell them at other strikes as well. But I've been kind of buying them back and then reselling the contracts as well. All right, catch you guys later.